was a home simple.
I don't know if they're do something, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, you gotta do stuff.
I'll talk to John, but he's engaged in conversation.
No, I ended up here because there, don't scoot back, please.
Talk to the guy. Good evening, everyone. We're going to be starting the meeting.
But the Boomer called me.
Yeah, what do you want?
What's gonna go on? I saw we're gonna get.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Winnebago County Board meeting. Tonight is Thursday, December 14th, 2023. A little past 6 o'clock. Tonight, our invocation and pledge allegiance is going to be by Board Member Brad Lindmark. Please stand.
Okay. Lord, we ask that you guide us through tonight's meeting and every meeting we have. Our first responders, take care of our families and our blessed ones on this holiday. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lindmark. Mr. Thompson, are there any agenda announcements this evening?
No announcements, Mr. Chairman, but I would like to introduce two staff people on the staff row here. On my far left is Hope Edwards. Many of you have met Miss Edwards. She is our new purchasing director for Winnebago County. She's in her second week of employment. She's still here and she's still smiling. So welcome, Hope. And then also, I'd like to introduce Officer Mike Weber, who is here this evening from the Sheriff's Department. Thank you, Officer.
Thank you.
I think you all know Troy.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Speech, Troy.
Chris Dornbush and Steve Schultz. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Clerk Gummel, can you please call the roll?
Certainly. Thank you, Chairman. We will start with Ms. Fellers. Mrs. Gorel. Mr. Guevara. Ms. Hansard. Mr. Hoffman. Mr. Lindmark. Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Neighbors. Mr. Penny. Mr. Salgado. Mr. Scroll. Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Tassoni. Mr. Thompson. Mr. Webster. Mr. Arena. Mr. Booker. Mr. Butita. Mrs. Crosby. Thank you all. Chairman, 15 board members present, 5 board members absent.
Very good. We do have a quorum this evening. Moving on our agenda under awards, presentations, public hearings, and public participation. We have none of those here tonight. We'll go on to our approval of minutes. May I entertain a motion to approve the November 9th, 2023 minutes and lay over the November 30th, 2023 minutes. We got a move by Mr. Thompson, a second by Mr. Guevara. Is there any discussion on the minutes this evening? Hearing none. Are there any board members opposed to either approval or lay over those minutes? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. And just please join Mr. Neighbors also. Next is the consent agenda that includes the raffle report and the auditor's report. May I entertain a motion, please? Moved by Mr. Thompson. Is there a second? Mr. Guevara seconds that motion. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda this evening? Very good. Are there any board members opposed to the approval of the consent agenda? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Excuse me. Next is the appointments per county board rules. Board chairman appointments require a 30-day layover unless there is a suspension of the rule. Tonight, we have the North Park Fire Protection District. The annual compensation is not to exceed $1,500. Placing up Timothy Freeberg. It is a new appointment, and that term will go from November 2023 to November 2026. The next is the Winnebago County Sheriff's Merit Commission. That annual compensation is $55 per meeting, not to exceed $600 per year. Placing up Danielle Schlichting. That is a new appointment from December 2023 to December 2029. Next is Mr. Kevin Gully. That is also a new appointment from December 2023 to December 2029. So moving on, reports of standing committees. The first is the Finance Committee, Mr. Butita.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, we have a resolution to approve payment of stipends to the regional superintendent and assistant regional superintendent of schools for Boone and Winnebago counties, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Butita, second by Mr. Sweeney. Is there any discussion, Mr. Butita?
No, sir.
Any discussion from board members this evening on this resolution? All right, hearing none, is there any board members opposed to this resolution? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. Butita.
Okay, next we have a resolution authorizing agreement between the County of Winnebago and the YMCA of Rock River Valley for Project Safe Neighborhoods Initiative, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Butita. Is there a second, Mr. Limark? Mr. Limark seconds that motion. Is there any discussion this evening, Mr. Butita?
This is a $132,000 grant that we are awarded, and it's going to the YMCA.
Very good. Board member discussion on this resolution? All right, hearing none, are there any board members opposed to this resolution? Very good. Please cast yes for all members present. Mr. Butita.
Next, we have a resolution accepting the award and authorizing a service agreement for the Violent Crime Reduction in Illinois Communities Program, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Butita. Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mr. Webster. Discussion, Mr. Butita?
Again, this is a grant in the amount of $282,538, and
Very good. Any board member discussion on this resolution? Very good. Are there any board members opposed to this resolution? Very good. Please cast yes for all members present. Mr. Butita.
next we have an ordinance for approval of budget amendment for River Bluff year-end, and I motion to suspend the rules on this
Motion
one.
to suspend by Mr. Butita, second by Mr. Hoffman. Are there any board members opposed to the suspension of rules for this ordinance? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. Butita, the rules are suspended.
All right, then I move for the approval of the budget amendment for River Bluff year-end.
Motion by Mr. Butita, second by Mr. Guevara. Is there any discussion, Mr. Butita?
This is just to clean up the 2023 River Bluff fund balance in the amount of $219,000.
Very good. Board member discussion on this ordinance. Very good. Are there any board members opposed to this ordinance? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. Butita.
Okay, finally, I have a resolution authorizing a settlement of pending litigation of Vasilia Mitrovec versus Susan Gorel, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Butita. There's a second motion. Mr. Arena seconds that motion. Is there board member discussion on this resolution?
This is a settlement in the amount of $85,000.
Very good. Any further discussion on this resolution? Very good. Are there any board members opposed to the approval of this resolution? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. Butita.
Yeah, concluders.
Thank you, Mr. Butita. Next is the Zoning Committee. Mr. Webster.
Okay, your zoning committee has one item on your agenda tonight. It's a resolution authorizing the DC Estate Winery, State Line Road, be subject to the jurisdiction of the city of South Beloit pursuant to a pre-annexation agreement This is in District 4. It's been laid over from our November 30th meeting. This has been voted down twice at committee, and the reason it got laid over because the last vote went 1-6. So, at any rate, been voted down twice. So I make a motion.
Motion to deny?
Motion to deny, yes.
Yep. Motion to deny. Is there a second motion by Mr. Limmark, Mr. Arena? Is there any discussion on this resolution? Very good. Mr. Guevara.
Let's clarify, the motion is to deny. If someone wishes to vote against granting the pre-annexation, they would vote in the affirmative.
I believe so. That's correct. So, any other discussion on the resolution? So are there any board members opposed to denying this resolution? Mr. Neighbors is opposed. Any other board members opposed? Very good. Please cast a yes for the denial for all other members present. Thank you. Mr. Webster.
Thank you. That's all we have this evening from zoning.
Very good. That was under unfinished business. So we'll move on to Economic Development Committee. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do not have a committee report tonight, but we will have a committee meeting this upcoming Monday at 5:30 on the third floor of the admin building.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney.
This upcoming Monday.
Economic Development Committee is completed. Now we go to Operations Administrative Committee, Mr. Keith McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've got 4 items for this evening. The first item is a resolution authorizing contract for bulk natural gas supply, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. McDonald. Do we have a second by Mr. Arena? Is there any board member discussion or chair discussion? All right, hearing none.
Mr. Steve, do you want to explain what was going on with the moving prices, please?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Thank you. So the recommendation that came from our consultant related to this natural gas purchase is that we go with a 36-month contract with Twin Eagle, and we go with an index that is variable. So every month, the amount that we pay per therm for natural gas will vary, it will change. But the reason that we're going with that is because the consultant believes over a period of time that the overall cost of the county is going to be lower going with that technique. And the line item you notice has actual small negative. So we'll take the index amount and we'll subtract a small amount from that, and that will happen every month. So that's the recommendation of the consultant and our recommendation as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Anything further, Mr. McDonald?
No, thank you, sir.
Is there any further board member discussion on this resolution? Very good. And are there any board members opposed to awarding this resolution? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item is an ordinance amending Chapter 62, Article 9 of the Winnebago County Code of Ordinances, and that is to be laid over.
Very good. That item is laid over.
I would like to also make a motion to suspend the rules.
Okay. So there's a motion to suspend. There's a second by Ms. Hansard. Is there any board member opposed to the suspension of rules for this ordinance? One? Okay.
I'm sorry, there was
Angela
one.
Fellers is opposed to the suspension. Any other board members opposed to this suspension? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Other members? Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item is, everybody has on their desk a yellow highlighted amendment to this ordinance. The reason we suspended the rules, the state of Illinois changed the way that we have to pay paid time off, so we need to pass this before January 1st. The language, like I said, in yellow. Ms. Vaughn, please help me out if I'm misrepresenting this, but I'd make a motion to amend the ordinance to include the highlighted in yellow areas on the sheet of paper.
Very good. The amendment is the highlighted areas of the sheet of paper.
First, make a motion to approve and get a second for it to be on the floor, then make a motion to amend.
Yeah.
A motion to approve.
So we have a motion to approve, and we have a motion to second by Mr. Penny. Is there any discussion on that motion? Very good. Are there any board members opposed to that motion?
Now, before we pass, I need to make a motion to amend.
Yeah, please cast a yes for all members on the motion. Mr. McDonald.
Now we've amended. Ms. Vaughn and I spoke about this, and I did it wrong still. Usually I can do this. So anyways, yes, It's been moved. Motion to amend.
We have a motion by Mr. McDonald to amend in the yellow highlighted areas, and we have a second by Mr. Thompson. Is there any discussion on the amendment for this ordinance? Very good. Are there any board members opposed to the amendment for this ordinance? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. The item is amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve the amended ordinance.
Motion to approve by Mr. McDonald, second by Ms. Hansard. Is there any discussion on the amended ordinance? Yes.
I have concern about Section C, which excludes part-time employees from being eligible for health, dental, and life insurance. Winnebago County has a high level of people who rely on Medicaid and Medicare for their health insurance, and there are really strict income restrictions on that. So by taking a part-time job with the county or by taking, they might get kicked off of those benefits, and I think that that will limit the job pool or limit the amount of people or the people who would have access to these jobs. That's my only concern with this.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Fellers. Any other discussion about this amended ordinance? Mr. Arena.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what would be the financial impact to the county if we were to provide health, dental, and life insurance to part-time employees? Do you have a way to estimate what that might be?
Is that to Mr. Schultz?
I would defer to the HR director. How many employees would that impact? Many.
I believe it could be up to possibly 145 employees. Now, don't forget, we do follow the rules of the Affordable Care Act, where every month we review part-time employees. And if over the last 12 months, they have worked an average of 130 hours a month, they do qualify for insurance, which is the high deductible plan.
So if I could follow up, so would that be like in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands?
It would be,
A year?
I'm just guesstimating at $20,000 per employee. So
That is correct.
do the math, Steve, 140 times 20,000.
Okay.
280,000, 300.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Fellers?
I'm not suggesting that we provide health insurance, dental insurance, and life insurance free of charge to our part-time employees, but I don't think that they should be excluded from the ability to opt into purchasing it. That's my point.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Fellers. Ms. Vaughn?
Chairman, thank you. We included language so that if they're eligible under the state law, then they will get health insurance. So that's included in the highlighted language. You're welcome.
Any other discussion on this ordinance? Very good. Are there any board members opposed to the approval of this ordinance? Very good. Please cast yes for all members present. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item is a resolution authorizing the operation of non-highway vehicles on Cunningham Road and Winnebago Road within the Village of Winnebago, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. McDonald. There's a second by Mr. Webster. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none. Are there any board members opposed to approval of this resolution? Very good. Please cast yes for all members present. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our final item is an ordinance adopting a remote work policy laid over from November 30, 2023, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. McDonald, and we got a second by Mr. Guevara. Is there any discussion, Mr. McDonald, on your part?
No, sir.
Any board member discussion on this ordinance? Very good. Is there any board members opposed to this ordinance? Very good. Please cast yes for all members present. Mr. McDonald.
That concludes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Okay, so we have Public Works. Mr. Tassoni.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Tassoni. Public Safety and Judiciary Committee. Mr. Lindmark.
Chairman, we do not have a report. We will be meeting next Wednesday, the 20th.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Lindmark. We've already concluded the unfinished business under zoning and operations. Move on to new business. Is there any new business in front of the board this evening? Ms. Crosby.
I would like to make a motion to into the Operations Committee to reinstate the chairman powers back to what they were December 1st, 2018.
So we have a motion. We need to take we need a second in the vote to get it to committee? No.
I don't need a motion.
No.
So my request is
Yeah.
that it be referred back to operations for review. My second request is that we vacate the policy regarding board members being able to choose their own board seats on the floor versus being dictated to. And the third one is I would like proclamations to be given from the podium by the chairman. So I'd like all three of those things revisited.
Very good. Those will all be referred to operations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crosby. Any other new business in front of the board this
December
evening?
1st, 2018.
Okay. Announcements and communications. Clerk Gummow.
Thank you, Chairman. The items listed below are received as correspondence.
Very good. Are there any board member announcements or communications? Ms. Hansard.
Yes, I just would like the board members to keep our fellow board member, Chris Scroll, in your prayers. He's had a little minor situation, so he's going to be out of commission for a few weeks. So we will definitely be missing him, but just kind of reach out and check on him. Thank you. And happy holidays, everyone.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Lindmark.
On that note, if everybody could keep the family and police officer, Chief Roscoe, Illinois, who passed away recently. We're in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lindmark. Any other board member announcements or communications? Mr. Thompson.
I want to take this time, since this is our last county board meeting, and say Merry Christmas to everyone and their families.
Very good. Merry Christmas, Mr. Thompson. Happy New Year to everybody. I appreciate all the hard work all the board members put in throughout the year. It's not an easy job, I know that, but you guys do a wonderful job, and let's continue the success of this county board in 2024. Mr. Webster. Motion by Mr. Webster, and there's a second by Mr. Guevara and Mr. Thompson. Any board members opposed to the adjournment this evening? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. We are adjourned.